Welcome to The Dentist Show. Let's jump right in.
Welcome to The Dentist Show. It's weird not hearing the echo. This will be my first podcast without the Dr. Chase Davis. He decided he'd rather be killing salmon in Alaska than podcasting with me this week, and I'm excited for him. Hopefully he's catching a lot of fish. That's actually why I wore my hat today. I've been up there fishing a couple times. It's a blast. If you haven't ever done it, salmon fishing in Alaska is definitely a treat. It's more like catching fish than actual fishing. So, well, I usually have Chase on these things because I'm a better co-host than an actual host. And so if it's a little dry today, I do apologize. And I truly think I've got a good topic to talk about today. I've been thinking about this a little bit over the years, and what makes what I do different, or what Chase does different, or what those that have succeeded in their desired worlds, if you will, and what makes them different. And I'd like to talk about belief versus wishful thinking, and why some people build the life they want and others don't. One of the biggest things that I believe is that we can create our existence through language, through action, and through belief, and that wishing doesn't really get us there. So I just want to talk about how that's made a difference in my career, my marriage, my business, and the businesses Chase and I have built. And it's something that I see truly separating those from those who win from those who wonder if they ever will. There's really a massive difference between wishing for success and believing it's going to happen. And you got to believe it's going to happen on your own terms, and that you're going to be the one who builds it, not just wishing that it's actually going to happen. And that mind shift switch, it changes everything for people. What is the difference between wish versus believe? Wishing is passive. It hopes, it dreams, it waits, it wonders. Belief is active. Belief is where you make movements. It prepares, it expects. It's not a desire. It's action in desire, I guess, if that makes sense. Just like, we talk about building $1 million practice or building a multi-million-dollar practice. You can wish for $1 million practice or $1 million office all day long, or you can believe you're going to build one and start acting like the person that it takes to do so. And that's really what it comes down to, is like believing that you're the one that can create it, and that you can surround yourself with people to help you create it, is way more powerful than wishing it would happen. One example of wishing stands on the shoreline, where belief is building the boat, right? If you want to cross the ocean, you can wish all day that you can swim across the ocean, or build the boat and go across it, right? I think this podcast is going to be a little more fluffy than some of our other ones. Maybe that's what I bring to the table. Chase is more tactical, and I'm more, I want you to feel good while you're listening to our podcast. So hopefully I'm not too cringy as we go through this. One of the things that I truly do believe is that Spokane Family Dental was destined for success. Not destined for success in the sense that there's nothing I could do, it was going to succeed. It was my wife, my kids, myself. We showed up on day one believing that it was going to succeed, almost because it had to succeed. We were there in the nights, painting walls, cleaning carpets, fixing equipment, not because we had to do it, but because we believed that doing it would bring wild success, and that it would 100% succeed as long as we kept showing up believing so. And Chase and I talked a little bit about it last podcast, how some unreasonable goals for me coming out of dental school. And I think that might be it, is set some unreasonable goals, commit to growing and becoming the person that it takes to reach those goals. Don't be the person that uses the same tools over and over again to try to create something. Be the person that has enough belief in yourself to go learn and sharpen new tools and learn how to do what it takes to become successful in whatever venture that is for you. I think that's so much more than business. It's marriage, it's family, it's your business, obviously, it's your health, your fitness levels, and what kind of trips you take, right? It's believe that it's possible and you can create it. My wife actually, I don't know if she's coined this term by any means, but she uses it a lot. And it's move first, master later. We didn't have all the answers at the beginning, and we still don't have all the answers, but we definitely didn't wait until we had all the answers. We moved fast, we took risks, and we figured it out as we went. That's what belief does. It pushes you off the sidelines before you feel ready, right? Belief is us believing that we will learn what we need to learn to get to the level that we believe we can get to. Wishing is hoping something happens to us that will create the opportunity that might reach what we're after, right? So belief is definitely active, and moving before you master, jumping in with both hands and figuring it out is truly how you put belief into action. And why does belief drive action versus wishing? Belief forces alignment. It requires you to focus on the right time limits to get things done, or the right time frames to get things done. It pushes you to shorten timelines and create the opportunity to make those things happen. It aligns the money conversations that need to be had and the actual money that's required to make that goal happen. It helps narrow our focus on what we truly believe in and what's most important to us. And it helps us put all the right energy into those areas. That's not saying you're never going to step off the path. You're not going to make a wrong decision. If anything, belief allows you to get in there, get focused, try, fail, and then not lose that motivation or the discipline that got you there to begin with. And that's actually one of the things that we were talking about in one of our team meetings. Actually, we have what we call a Matt's Motivational Minute that we send out to our teams. And Matt brought it up. One of the, there's a baseball player out there that talks about this, that motivation versus discipline, where, motivation is a feeling, discipline is a decision. Belief doesn't rely on how fired up you were today. It shows up with or without your mood, right? So you don't build anything great on just motivation alone, because motivation comes and goes. Discipline is something that is there over and over and over again, time and time again, without fail. And belief helps you create that discipline. And that's what keeps you going when life gets hard. What keeps you going when life gets hard is the belief that it will be better in the future, that you can create the opportunity for it to be better in the future. And the discipline is how you're going to get there. I think there's even a spiritual foundation on that, and you may or may not have a higher power that you believe in. However, the saying, faith without works is dead. Belief shows up in your work, right? I think, we're super blessed in our efforts and believing that it can get better and it can be better, and ultimately getting to the position where you give yourself permission to believe it is going to be better is one of the most beautiful things we can do for ourselves. I feel like I'm kind of running through this pretty quickly. I did write some notes and stuff because I wasn't prepared without Chase to be asking me questions and keeping the banter going. One of one of the things that is so powerful is, for those of you that haven't been listening the whole time, and for those of you who have, a little reminder is that when Cassie and I, my wife and I, started our path down towards dentistry, we were a couple farm kids living in middle of nowhere, Washington, and I happened to be working in manufacturing at the time, and it was the 2007-8 kind of 9 downturn in the economy, and we went from having a house to losing our house, sitting on our front porch weeks before losing our house, wondering what we're going to do for our future. And we set a goal, not really a goal. We set an expectation for some things that we wanted out of our future and out of our family life. And some of that was materialistic. Yes, we're young, naive. We had 2 kids, number 3 on the way, and we were like, okay, well, we want to live on the water. We want to have a family of 6 and a big house with a trampoline, and some of the things that we didn't have as we were kids, and definitely didn't have where we were at that time in life. And we created, for lack of better words, a vision board within our conversation of what we wanted out of life. And then we started talking about things and careers that would get us there. And mind you, I was 19, no college education, I guess I was 21 at this time. No college education, barely a high school education, and no family members that I was in contact with were attending college or even had stepped foot on college. And I definitely hadn't been on a college campus. And so we sat there and we're like, okay, well, doctors, dentists, lawyers, people in those career fields, which were way outside of my understanding of what it even took to get to be one of those, was kind of the families that, or the careers that we knew that had families that lived on the water and had some of the things we were looking for in our own lives, mainly stability. And one of the things that I told my wife is, I was like, mind you, I'm from Hickville, USA, and she's trying to tell me, and I guess her and I are trying to decide what career is going to be best for me in the future. And she says, I think you should become a dentist. That'd be really good for you. I think you'd be really good at it. And I looked at her and I said, like, with no uncertain terms, I was like, honey, only preppy douchebags go to college. And thinking about it now today, I'm like, I'm a self-proclaimed preppy douchebag, right? I told my wife only preppy douchebags go to college, and here I am. Went to college and became a dentist. I'm not saying college is for everybody. That's definitely not what the point of this conversation is. The point is Cassie and I took the time to decide what we wanted out of life. We believed it was possible, and then we started choosing the choices that would get us there. We started creating the opportunities that would get us there. We started making the movements and the actions that would get us there. Which brings me to my next topic our next section of this topic is, real talk, actually, how's this? The real talk of it is like, how do you know if you're just wishing versus believing, right? Because all of us I wish I had this, I wish I had that, I wish I wanted this, If you find yourself waiting for the right time, if you talk more than you build, if you consume more than you commit, and if you admire more than you act, right? So I've been there. I've wished my way through many seasons of life. And every time I had to wake up and ask, am I hoping something will change? Or am I becoming someone who changes things, right? Some of my most miserable times was when I sit around and I'm like, I hope this gets better. I wish things would be easier. And until I take action, until you take action, it's really difficult to have pride in oneself and the resolve to keep going forward. When you start stacking those wins of like, I chose this, I decided this, I move forward in this way, even when you're wrong, it feels so powerful to be wrong and to choose it. And it's way more powerful to be wrong and to choose it than to maybe get lucky and have no effort in that direction, right? So how do we start living like you believe? Decide what you're committed to building, right? Write it down, say it, own it. Just like my wife and I said, these are the things we want. These are our non-negotiables. This is where we see ourselves. You got to start deciding what that looks like. Start deciding what you're committed to building. In the dental sphere, since we're on the dentist show, if you want to get yourself a $5 million practice, or you want to get yourself 10 $5 million practices, start deciding that now, figuring out what that looks like. If you want to build the most successful team in a certain sphere in dentistry, say specifically veneers or all on X cases, anything like that, decide what that looks like and commit to building it. Because the answer is you don't got to do anything. You get to choose to do everything that it takes to make that happen. And then start acting like the person who already believes it. Show up early, invest the time, practice hard, do all the steps of someone who already believes it's so, and act like the person who's already accomplished it. And that's how you'll become the person who can do it. And then one of these things, this is something that Cassie and my wife and I kind of get into trouble a lot, is we're always saying what the next thing we're going to do. We're always talking about ideas. And it's crazy when we talk ideas, it seems like everyone in our household, my kids, our family members, and then those that are friends of ours, if we say it, it's like it's written in stone. Cassie has this joke that if I said I wanted to move to Florida next week, Ryan would have it done within less than a month, right? And she's like, because we take action if we speak it, we take action pretty hard on it. So I urge you, speak as if it's happening. If you speak as if it's already happening, and it's not a fake it till you make it kind of idea, but it's a frame it with faith. You frame your future by speaking it out loud. You take that seed out of your pocket and you plant it in the ground so it can start growing, and then you water it by speaking about it more and more. You want to give your life and your decisions and what you're committed to a reputation to live up to, right? Speak like it's real, not in some, like I said, fake it till you make it way, but because your words will shape your world. People and plans rise to the expectations you set, right? And so if you have an expectation and have something that you're really committed to building and keep speaking about it in a high level, those that will rise to the occasion to help you reach that goal or that next level will show up in the next level. And those who don't, they'll step away, or they'll free their future of your time. You want to surround yourself with people who believe. You want to surround yourself with people who believe just as passionately as you do. If you're surrounded by wishers, you'll always feel like the crazy person in the building. If you're surrounded by builders, you'll feel convicted when you're just wishing, right? The builders around you will remind you not to wish. They'll remind you to believe. And if you hang out with wishers, they're going to want you to wish with them instead of help them be motivated to believe. This is going to be a little shorter of a podcast. Like I said, I'm a little dry without Chase. He's my wingman when we're doing these. But I hope this at least has brought some encouragement to your life or some benefit. I do challenge you this week to, if you catch yourself talking about wishing this or wishing that, or man, I wish I had that boat, or man, I wish I had that car, or man, I wish I had an extra 2 hours of sleep, right? Or, I wish I could get my nails done every Sunday like so-and-so. Whatever it is, catch yourself wishing And every time you say, I wish I could, stop and ask yourself, what would I do if I believed I could, right? What would you do if you believed you could get that car or that boat, or that it was already yours? You just needed to do a little bit of something to make it happen, right? Not to minimize it with words like just. However, catch yourself saying, I wish I could, and change it to, what would I do if I believed I could? You're not, none of us are waiting for the stars to align. You're not waiting for, everything to get perfect. You're not waiting for the iron to get hot. I think the saying is, don't wait till the iron gets hot, strike until the iron gets hot, right? I don't ever wait till the iron gets hot before we strike. And sometimes, actually, that's not true. When I do, I usually find that I missed out on something I'm interested in or that I want to do. And when we commit ourselves to what we actually want, and we keep striking and keep striking and keep striking, sure, we may have had a lot of misses. We may have failed a handful of times, but when the right opportunity hits at the same time I strike, I've learned and prepared myself for that opportunity. So, you're not waiting for the stars to align. You're waiting on belief to kick in. Decide you're the one to get the work done. That's the big thing. Decide that you are the one to get the work done. You're not waiting for someone to do the work for you. God honors movement. He blesses us in our efforts, and life rewards bold belief. I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you listening in. I know this is a little off cuff. Doesn't have a lot to do with dentistry. It's more about believing in yourself and believing in creating a life that you want, and that you can have the belief that it's possible. And I would like to thank you guys for listening today. If this hit home for you, share it with someone who needs the nudge too. We're not just talking shop here. We're all about building you as a person, building legacies, and building offices and teams, and to create the best dental professionals that we can, as well as the best communities and individuals outside of our podcasts. So take one belief at a time, change your I wishes into I believe. And if you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, follow, all the things that we're supposed to say so that you keep listening. And if you didn't enjoy it, I think it's pretty useful stuff. So you could tune back into this one a couple times if you didn't enjoy it. Thanks for your guys' time. This was The Dentist Show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to The Dentist Show. We hope that this episode helped you make smiles about more than teeth. To get more resources to grow as a dentist and to learn more about Chase and Ryan, go to thedentistshow.com or just follow the link in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, share with another dentist in your life and help us grow the movement. And be sure to rate and review wherever you're listening.